Welcome to SA Company's Wildlife Wednesday. My name's Robbie, and I'm here to teach you about some of the coolest animals in this whole world. Once again, it's Wildlife Wednesday. Let's see, the clue for this week. They get up to 20 feet long. Maybe a little longer. I think the record was actually 23 feet and 403 pounds. Imagine that. So what do you guys think it is? All right, guys, did you guess it? I'll give you another clue. These guys are also found in the United States, right here in Florida. What do you think? Well, if you guessed the Burmese Python, you're absolutely correct. Whoa. See, I told you. They're found right here in South Florida. Whoa. This is the Burmese Python. Wow. It's an invasive species right here in South Florida. Now, a lot of these snakes came to be in Florida because of a thing called Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew did a lot of damage to South Florida, and there's a lot of reptile breeders and also importers down there. Now, when those buildings got taken out, these snakes got loose. And guess what? South Florida happens to be a lot like Southeast Asia, except for we get a little bit colder than they do. Now, these guys are native to Southeast Asia, and over there, they're considered vulnerable. Here in the United States, Florida is their only main hold, and it's everything south of Lake Okeechobee. Now, where these snakes naturally come from, they live in rocky outcrops, they live in the jungle, and they love the swamps. And what do we have down south? A lot of swamps. We have the Everglades. So these guys are making the Everglades their home. Now, will we ever get rid of them in Florida? I don't know. That's a good question, because they do seem to have a stronghold down there. But the one thing we do have that is our saving grace is anything north of Lake Okeechobee, it gets way too cold for these guys. These guys would actually have to be heated or something like that, because they are very susceptible to upper respiratory problems. Now, I used to breed these snakes when I was young, and actually I bred them a few years ago too. These snakes, if they get a chill, if they get in the 60s, they get pneumonia. They get upper respiratory problems, so you got to give them antibiotics and heat them way up just to get rid of that. And thank God there's not a little fairy vet flying around giving these guys injections of Baytril or antibiotics to help them get over that upper respiratory problem. Now, these snakes are actually established down there, and they do breed during the fall, and then they'll develop those eggs in their body, and then they'll lay those eggs between March and April. Now, the Burmese Python will lay those eggs. She'll build like it's kind of like a nest, but she'll wrap around the eggs and stay with them so she can control the temperature of the eggs. That way she's ensuring that most of them hatch. She'll wrap her coils around them, and if it's getting cold out, she'll shiver her body, creating body heat, creating heat on the eggs to keep them warm. And that whole time that those eggs are incubating, she's wrapped around them, she doesn't eat. So her job is just to protect the eggs and keep them warm. Now, once the eggs hatch, her job's over. She takes off and looks for a meal, and each one of those babies go on their separate ways. And they're out trying to hunt and trying to get something to eat as well. Now, yes, alligators will eat these big snakes, and so will the crocodiles down there. And there are other animals that eat them as well. Like raccoons will eat babies, bobcats will eat babies, cougars will eat babies, especially birds. Birds love baby snakes. So out of that clutch, you could have, I'll say 50 eggs. Let's be generous and say a big Burm is going to lay up to 50 eggs. Out of that clutch, maybe one or two will make it to adulthood, because they are going to become prey for everything. Fish, turtles, all kinds of stuff down there. But those one or two make it to adulthood, then they're going to produce, and they can be up to adult size within 3 years in the wild, within 18 months in captivity. Now, this is a captive snake, and they actually do make good pets. The only problem with them is they're too big. We actually had a Burmese Python that was 20 feet exactly, and she was 301 pounds. The world record for the weight on those is, I think it was 23 feet long and 403 pounds. So we were 100 pounds shy of the record, but she was a huge snake. Her name was Delilah. My kids actually used to play with her, but we would never let people work with her one person at a time, because it's much too dangerous. It's a big snake. She's actually constricting around my leg. You can see her, not hear her, obviously. You can see her wrapped around my leg, and she's holding on there because she's got an anchor point. Now, the mistake a lot of people make is they'll wrap these up around their neck. And when you do that, guess what? This becomes the anchor point. And a snake like this, even this size, can actually cut off your breathing pretty easy if you don't know what you're doing. All right, now, Burmese pythons are considered constrictors. They belong to a classification of snakes called Old World snakes. That's all the pythons. Pythons are egg layers for the most part. Now, like I said, they coil their eggs, they breed in the fall, and they produce in the spring. These guys, they are prolific breeders, but in Southeast Asia, they're becoming pretty rare. They're considered vulnerable over there. Here's another cool fact about them. I'll bet you didn't know that pythons, Burms, are mainly considered nocturnal, but they will come out on a nice warm day when it's a cold evening, just to lay out in that sun and warm up. What are you doing? Now look at this. Oh, such a beautiful snake though. Look at the pattern on that snake. Oh my, that is beautiful. No, actually in the clothing industry, the Burmese python, the pattern, and the reticulated python is used on a lot of faux leather or faux clothing, fake snakeskin, fake boots, fake belts, and everything, because it is such a beautiful pattern. Now these guys also, here in captivity, they are bred for color morphs. This is considered a regular color morph of the Burmese python. In a little bit, I'm going to show you something that's really cool. Now, like I said, these guys are considered a large constrictor. They do get up to 23 feet long, and that's pretty big. You know, imagine one weighing 403 pounds, 23 feet. I know I couldn't lift it up, could you? Now, in the wild, these snakes will eat about once every month, maybe a little bit more if they get the opportunity. Now, they can also go up to 18 months without a meal. Could you imagine trying to make it even a week? I know I can barely make it 2 hours. But in Southeast Asia, these guys are actually hunted for their hides and their meat, because they do eat them over there. I've never eaten Burmese python. I've eaten snake before. Got a lot of bones. I don't know if I like it. Nah, not worth it. I kind of like them alive. Because you're kind of cute, aren't you, buddy? Now, like I said, these guys love the swamps of South Florida. And one thing they do have their advantage is they can hold their breath for over 30 minutes underwater. That's a good long time. I know I'd be lucky to do 2 minutes. Why don't you try and see how long you can hold your breath? I'll bet it's nowhere close to what this guy can. But did you know snakes are super cool because they have a short lung on one side and then a really long lung on the other side. Now, if you, I don't know, do you guys hear that? It's kind of faint, but when I let his body go, you can hear him hiss. And he's not actually hissing because he's mean. It's because that long lung, the way I'm moving him, is forcing the air out of him. So it's making a hiss sound. And most people mistake that for, oh my God, the snake's hissing at me. It's mad. It's going to attack me. Dude, look at this snake. Even wild ones, if you muck with them, they will try to bite you. But if you just leave them alone, they don't want anything to do with you. If you grab them, they're gonna turn and get you. Now, as juveniles, when they're getting ready to hatch, these snakes actually have something right on their front lip, right here, called an egg tooth. They will actually break the egg open, which is a leathery surface, and they'll cut it open with that egg tooth and they'll get out. And then they lose that egg tooth. It's just a little hard scale, basically, is what it is, really. And they cut the egg, they get out of there, and baby Burms like to go up high. They like to go up in small bushes and trees and spend a lot of time up there hunting for lizards or whatever else they can find, baby birds. But as they become adults, they're much too heavy bodied of a snake to spend their life up in the tree. So you find them mainly down on the ground or in the water or outcrops of rocks. They love that because the rocks absorb that sun and they stay nice and warm. And Florida is sunny, but like I said, I don't think any of you have anything to worry about them making it up past Okeechobee. You may find one every once in a while. What happened was they became illegal to keep these snakes without a permit. So a lot of people got scared and dumped the snakes. They thought they were going to get caught with the snake and get arrested. That's simply not the fact. You can donate the snake to someone who is licensed and you're not going to get in trouble. Now in Florida, they just passed another law that it is illegal to keep these snakes. So please, if you have the snakes, don't get scared and dump them. Just call someone, call an animal sanctuary or something like that and donate the snakes to them because most of them are licensed to possess these snakes. Ow, wow, that's a strong snake. He was just, look at that, he's pulling my hand just with his body. And this isn't even that big of a snake. It's only about 9 feet. And oh, here's something really cool I'll show you. Come here, guys. Look, right there. Can you guys see that hook right there by my thumb? That thing right there. Males have those hooks because when during breeding season, they will rub all over a female and they'll push those hooks out and use them to tickle the female. And that lets the female know that the male's interested in breeding. Ready, guys? Are you sure? Check this out. How cool and beautiful is that? This is an albino Burmese python. Now, like I said, they come in so many different color morphs because of the pet trade. Some of the different colors are more sought after. This was once a really rare color morph, and now it's actually pretty common. But if you check it out, can you see the eyes there? They're pink. And look at all the yellows and whites. That's albino. Now, a snake like this, very, very, very slim chance of surviving in the wild. And I'll show you exactly why. If you guys look right down there at our normal color Burm, he kind of blends in. He's kind of hard to see, right? Now watch this. We'll put this Burm down next to him. Oh, you see what I'm telling you? He sticks out like a sore thumb. So when he's born and just hatches, any predators are going to see him right away, and they're going to swoop down or just grab him and have a meal. Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you, the Burmese python is considered the third largest snake in the world. The anaconda being the heaviest snake, the reticulated python being the longest, and then you have the Burmese python, and then the African rock python is next. Some people will say the African rock python's third, but I'll tell you what, I've never seen an African rock python over 20 feet and over 300 pounds. And I personally owned a Burmese python that was 20 feet and 301 pounds. Oh, you guys are so cool. Man, you guys get such a bad rap. I'm sorry, guys. All right, guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the Burmese python. Oh, I'm kind of all tied up at the moment. But if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell. That way, every time we post, you'll get a notification and you can check it out. Thanks for joining us, and get swamped. See ya.